Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. In today's video, I want to have a look at Litecoin. Now, anybody who's been in the crypto space for more than 10 minutes will know about Litecoin. It's one of the oldest cryptocurrencies about, and I know made in 2011, so I know 12 years doesn't sound like a very long time, but for the crypto space, that's about as long as a test of time that you can have. You know, Bitcoin was 2008, 15 years ago roughly, so it's been around for 80% of the time Bitcoin has, which is pretty impressive to be honest with you. So I wanted to have a look at Litecoin because it's a good alt to look at because, like I said, it's stood the test of time, but it also follows Bitcoin in a very cyclical way. It sort of moves with the same moves Bitcoin does, pumps when Bitcoin pumps, dumps when Bitcoin does. But recently we've been sort of coming up to a little bit of Litecoin isolated activity. And well, if we just get into it, it's currently trading at about 91 American dollars, but you can see here that it's been sort of climbing up and down pretty harshly, pretty severely. I mean, as it goes in, the severity is worn off. I mean, it climbed here rapidly, and then it dropped rapidly, and then it climbed just as rapidly, and then it dropped rapidly, but not as far, and then it's climbed back up again. And even yesterday we had a drop of like 14%, I think, from the previous peak where it was trading at about $97, and then it dropped down to something like 83, which is pretty significant to be honest with you. And then of course today it's climbed massively back to 91. So it's very volatile, really very explosive movements in the Litecoin sort of trading pair with with everything. And the reason that is because of the Litecoin halving. Now, if you don't know what a halving is, a lot of coins have them. It's basically where the coin at it's a certain block, but if you don't know what a block is, that's okay. Basically, on a certain date, the coin, whichever one it is, Litecoin in this case, decides to cut the rate of supply usually in half. So, for example, I don't know if this is true, I don't actually know, but I think the current mining rewards per block for Litecoin is about 10 LTC, 10 Litecoins per block, I think at the moment. And after the halving, which is in August 3rd or 2nd, I think it's predicted at the moment. So after the halving, every reward per block will now be 5. It'll be cut in half. So we'll have gone 10 Litecoins made every block mined to 5 Litecoins made every block mined. So it basically reduces the inflation rate, basically. You know, it's the supply, consider it like a curve, you know, it's parabolic at the beginning, and then as the halvings go on, the supply drops, and then, you know, it tends to zero until it eventually does reach zero. But that's not in our lifetimes, I don't think, so it's not something we really have to worry about. And this isn't the channel to come to if you want to know what happens after that, because I don't know. But anyway, and we can see that basically with movements like these, it usually leads to a breakout. Now breakout to the upside or to the downside, and I personally think it's to the upside. Now, if you watched the last video that I made the other day on Bitcoin, I said that basically I think that we're gonna have another leg up from Bitcoin. I'll show you the chart of Bitcoin. So, hello. So I'll just get Bitcoin there very quickly. Here it is. So as you can see, this is Bitcoin in orange. The current whereabouts of Bitcoin is changed to percentage as well, sorry. So you can see we had a leg up here, another leg up here, and currently we've had a little drop, sort of bled out a little bit, but I do believe we'll have another leg up, and this is what we said in the video from a few days ago, that it'll have one leg up and then it will bleed out for the rest of the year. And I think this is actually pretty telling. We can see it's weak, it's showing weakness, how it's trying to break up, but it can't. You can see it's had a wick here, had a crash, and it recovered. And I think we will have one spike up again, and then it will bleed. And I think it will be the same for LTC, but obviously for different reasons. With a halving year, really, it's good for the coin. There's a lot of hype around the coin. But with LTC, and this is not isolated to LTC, but it's definitely different to Bitcoin, where Bitcoin pumps on a halving, LTC usually does quite poorly in the short to medium term. And I'll show you this now. Now, sadly, I don't have data before September 2016 on TradingView for Litecoin, as there was a halving in 2016, but there was one in 2019 as well, so we'll have a look at that. It was in August. They all tend to be in August, the Litecoin halvings, I don't know why. But anyway, as you can see, start of the year, we're at a new low, basically, for that cycle, and then word about the halving starts to spread around, and we can see that price climbs pretty nicely, whatever some macro or crypto event, causes a big sell-off or something. But usually there's good sentiment for the coin during the halving year, and especially as they get closer. And now you can see around June, late June, sort of July, about 2 months before the halving, the coin starts to drop. Litecoin really takes a beating, really, to be honest with you. That's a serious drop off from 150 down to basically $40 in the space of 16th to the 23rd, 3 weeks. That is shocking, really. And this is now only 2 weeks away from the halving, so a huge sell-off, massive. And then this is probably the halving date, actually. So we have a wick here, sell the news sort of thing. Whales sell into all the hype of new people wanting to buy Litecoin, hoping it'll pump. And then the coin continues to bleed for literally the rest of the year. And then it even has a rally over a few months, and then it just loses all of that progress again and floats around this sort of dead level of $40, which is very rough. Now, this happened the same with the 2016 Litecoin halving, and I'm not really sure, there wasn't a halving before that, sorry, these are the only 2 halvings that we've had. But with Bitcoin, it's different. Bitcoin rallies on the news of a halving if it wants to show itself. I don't know why this is acting up, but anyway, Bitcoin had a halving in May of 2020, I'm pretty sure. And if we go and have a look, 2020, we move to May, we can see that it doesn't really rally into the news. Well, it has a bad time really leading up to the halving, but then when the halving does actually happen, it climbs drastically, and it actually goes into a bull run. Now, I'm not quite sure whether this is what caused the bull run. I'm sure there's multiple factors for it to be. I mean, you've had years of pain here anyway, so it was time for a bull run anyway, but I think it was just timed perfectly. And I think it will be the same with the next halving, which is 2024. I think that'll be the sort of the biggest catalyst that will lead the Bitcoin bull run for the next one. But anyway, it's sort of, the halving happened, the coin jumped, and then it kept jumping, kept going up. And that's pretty common for Bitcoin and other halving coins, but Litecoin often seems to suffer. And now if we go back here, we can see that we are roughly, what's the date today? 6th of June. The halving is in August, sometime, early August, roughly 2 months away. Now, if you remember last time, we had one last peak, one sort of explosive move up, and then the ass just fell out from underneath it. It lost everything. It dropped some stupid amount, it went from 140 to something like $40, which is ridiculous. It's 60-70% drop over a few weeks. So I can actually see that happening here if we break to the upside. If we break to the upside, I think we'll have an explosive move up, and then a big explosive move down, and then we'll keep having that move down for longer than we have the up, and then we'll have the halving where it will float around for a while. We'll have a wick, and then it will bleed out again like it did in 2019. where it just had this, you see this explosive move up here, floats around for a few days, a week and a bit maybe, and then just collapses. And then we have the halving day, collapse, 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 lower high after lower high, lower low after lower low. So basically, in my opinion, not good news for Litecoin. Now, that being said, do I think Litecoin will stick around? Yeah, I think it will. I think it'll be a coin that will always be around, really. Even if its price performance isn't brilliant, I think it will always be a part of the crypto space. Just because of its history and also its cyclical nature to Bitcoin, and it is really kind of like a silver to Bitcoin. So my advice, if I was going to give some, which I wouldn't, no financial advice, nothing like that, you know, don't take any risks, put your money in a bank, I don't know. Don't do that. That's one of the worst things you can do with your money, I think. Not financial advice. But I think we'll have one pull up here. I'll get the arrows out for you. I think we'll have one sort of explosive move up here. We'll escape this sort of breakout zone. And then I think we will just as quickly drop down. That's a bit, wait, sorry. I'll actually get this in line with the dates so that it's correct. I think it will drop down, and then on August, whenever it is, I think it's I'll put it for the 2nd. I think it's the 2nd. I think we'll have an explosion up, and then I think it will just lose all of that, and then I think it will just slowly lose itself over the year, basically. I can't see anything good happening for Litecoin this year based on historical events. Like, you know, every halving it's had before. I know I can't show you the halving in 2015, but go look it up. I'll probably link something in the description if I can on the 2015 halving for Litecoin, but it wasn't good news for the coin, and neither was the last one, so why should this one be any different? Like, you know, there's nothing really that bullish for the market at the moment anyway. Like, I don't think there's no reason to celebrate in general in the crypto space at the moment. It's a pretty boring, dead space. Like, most people have left. And I think this is where we put in our bottoms and we get back to our lows. It's so boring at the moment for Bitcoin. Even the meme coins have sort of expired now. I know new meme coins are popping up every day on Ethereum and stuff, but they're not. They've lost, you know, Pepe was big, and then that's been a month already, and then now nothing. You know, people have left again. People have gotten bored, and that's been seen in the price of Bitcoin. Let me pull it up again very quickly. We can see that people are getting bored, and they are sort of leaving. Like, this is the sort of Bitcoin hype, people coming in, buying it for the meme, whatever, and then after a month, you know, when they've lost all their money or they're down 80% in the new meme coin, they just go. Like, there's no point. They were here for one thing and they've had that thing, so it's time to leave. And yeah, nothing exciting to happen except the Litecoin halving, which literally spells bad news for Litecoin from this point on. So if you have Litecoin, I wouldn't be holding on to it really if I were you. I do have Litecoin at the moment, and I think I'm gonna be selling it off soon enough, but you do you at the end of the day. If you believe in the project, and you're a long-term holder, there's no harm riding this out. And you know, I would say kudos to you, go for it. It's just, these are things that most people should try to be aware of when they're putting money into the crypto space, and that's what I want to kind of do with this channel. So look, if you liked it, give me a subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated. Really appreciate the you guys tuning in, and yeah, thanks. See you soon. Bye bye.